When inspectors, governors, or boards ask, how do you know your inclusion strategy is working? Many providers struggle to give a confident, joined up answer. Evidence lives in different systems, in people's heads, or in ad hoc spreadsheets. So the story of inclusion is patchy and hard to show. Yet, the inspection framework expects leaders to understand how well they identify learners with hidden barriers, what support is in place, and what impact that support has over time. Cognassist brings all of that activity together into a single context, action, and impact view. So you can see the whole proactive pathway in one place. Instead of scrambling for evidence, you can clearly show who you supported, what you did, and where it's making a difference, with a clear line of sight to where you may still carry inspection or funding risk. In Cognassist, the outcomes report gives leaders a high-level view of progress through the proactive pathway across all programs and locations. At a glance, you can see how many learners have been assessed, how many have personalized support plans, and where support has been reviewed and stepped down. Alongside that, tutor adoption insights show which teams are consistently recording support, so you can see how effectively your inclusion strategy is being delivered in practice. Learner adoption highlights how much self-serve support learners are actually using, giving you insight into where strategies are embedded in everyday learning, not just scheduled sessions. Together, these views turn inclusion from a series of isolated activities into a measurable strategy you can monitor, discuss, and refine across the whole organization. Quality, ALS, and curriculum teams can then move from "we think it's working" to "here's what's working and here's where we need to act." If the outcomes report shows strong assessment coverage, but fewer learners reaching evaluate learning barriers, that flags a need to strengthen follow-up and check-ins across programs. Tutor adoption data can surface curriculum areas where support records are thin, helping leaders target coaching and training where it's needed most. Learner adoption can reveal groups who aren't engaging with self-serve strategies, prompting changes to induction, onboarding, or in-class coaching so support feels easier to access. Seen together, these patterns help you answer Ofsted's "how do you know" question, and they also highlight where you may carry funding or compliance risk if the evidence isn't there yet. By connecting context, action, and impact in this way, Cognassist gives you a single, coherent inclusion story across your college or training provision. You can clearly show how learners with additional support needs are identified, how support is implemented, and how this changes outcomes over time. Leaders, ALS, and curriculum teams are all looking at the same evidence instead of piecing together separate reports and anecdotes when inspection or audit is on the horizon. So, when inspection, internal review, or a deep dive into inclusion arrives, you're ready with a narrative that shows inclusion at scale with a proactive pathway. And because your evidence is structured and consistent, appropriate ALS funding becomes easier to claim with confidence, whether you're a large FE college or an independent training provider.